I've got set up here are these small wooden blocks holding down these plastic sheets, and I've got a few open areas to pour the epoxy into. It's super important that these blocks are sturdy and firmly holding down the plastic sheet, because when I pour the epoxy, the pencils are going to want to float up. So without something holding them down, they're going to float and get all misaligned and make a mess. Alright, so I've got the block all squared up, and this is the last offcut. The plan is to resaw down the middle of this and butterfly it open to make the neck blank. The issue I have right now is that these edges aren't square to the center line between the middle colored pencils. They're off by about 1/16 of an inch, so I gotta figure out how to get it squared to the center line first. Alright, I'm going to take a second here and thank my sponsor for the video, NordVPN. And being a content creator, it's super important that I'm able to use the internet securely and protect my content. And there's no better way to do this than with NordVPN. NordVPN offers super fast servers over 5,200 in 59 countries. It allows you to unlock Netflix and your favorite entertainment websites. They offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. It also protects data while traveling or in public. It has CyberSec Suite, which acts as an ad blocker, faster connection with NordLinks, no data logging, 24/7 customer support, up to 6 simultaneous connections, and it has double data encryption for increased anonymity. NordVPN was selected as the Best VPN and Best VPN Awards for 2020, and it's also recommended by leading tech and VPN related sources. So if you are interested in protecting your online data, which I believe we should all take very seriously, go to nordvpn.com/BurlesArt or use code BurlesArt to get a 2-year plan with a huge discount plus 1 additional month for free. So here's my solution. I've got these clamps set up on this sled, and I can clamp the block firmly in place, and then I can use the fence on the table saw, and I can rip this edge while it's aligned to my center line on the block, and I should be able to get everything square to that center line. That worked exactly how it was supposed to, and now everything is square to that center line, so I should be good to send it through the bandsaw now. I typically would use wood glue for this type of glue up, but being that the gluing surface is like 50% wood and then 30% epoxy and like 20% lead, I decided to just use epoxy instead, as it bonds best to the variety of materials. Got the blank plane down to a good spot now. There are a few areas where the lead chipped out, but lucky for me, it's all in areas that are going to get cut off. Or like down here, this is where the headstock is, so that's not a problem. Just applying a light coat of epoxy here to seal it up before I put a layer of thickset epoxy on. If I were to skip this step, I'd get a bunch of bubbles in the flood coat because of the air in the wood. Got a little tape dam set up. Now it's time to pour this layer of epoxy, which is going to end up being the fretboard. So the way this fret cutting works is I have a fret template here that gets mounted to the blank, and it's got all these little slots which get aligned with this key. Each slot represents a fret. And I just mount the block using some clamps and I'm ready to go. So this is the guitar I'm going to use for the neck. You might remember I built this Telecaster a while ago. I think it was my second video actually, but I figured it's about time just to put a more appropriate neck on this guitar. The only issue I see right now is that this gap is far too much. I can do one of two things to fix this. I can either take some material off of the bottom of the neck and make it thinner, or I can take some material off the top of the neck pocket. So in the interest of strength, I think I might just do a little bit of both and then get on to carving the neck. So these frets are actually pressing into the slots real well. I was a little bit worried about how they would press because it's my first time using epoxy for the fretboard, but so far looks like it's going to work out. So first off, before I get into anything else, let me address something real quick. As you were watching the process of me building this neck, you might have been wondering, where's the truss rod? And for those of you who don't know what a truss rod is or what it does, it's basically an adjustable metal rod that gets set into the middle of the neck to keep the neck flat. And I didn't put one in this neck, and there's a few reasons for that. One being that I think the neck will be overall stronger without the cavity routed in there for the truss rod. The rod itself is strong, but the pocket it gets placed into still allows for some room for the truss rod to move when you adjust it. So I just figured it would be overall stronger without. Also, typical neck wood may have tendencies to move due to like air conditions, moisture, etc. But this neck is literally a bunch of colored pencils and epoxy. So I don't think it's going to move much, and it hasn't yet, but I guess that's something that we'll wait and see. So I mean, that's why I didn't put the truss rod in, and it's been strung up with tension, and the neck's stayed flat for over a week now. But like I said, we'll see. It's always kind of an experiment. I really didn't know whether or not this would be strong enough to hold string tension, but to my surprise, over the past few years of doing color pencil guitars, they always have ended up being a lot stronger than I imagined. So I mean, that's not to say that this won't break or crack at some point, but so far so good. This is also one of the reasons why this is an absolute bat of a neck. I wanted to leave it as thick as possible just to ensure that it would be strong enough. Still, the playability is fine for my hands, and the epoxy fretboard also has a really nice feel to it. So that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to cover on this. Overall, it looks sweet, and it's nice to finally have a complete color pencil guitar. And I'll also have a little demo here for you to watch. As always, if you want to stay up to date with my work, you can follow me on Instagram at BrosArt.